welcome to the post-race edition of IWCR for Sunday evening, April 23rd. Well, it was a little bit of everything at the Martinsville Speedway today. After a rain delay of about 2.5 hours, they did take the green flag for the Haynes 500, but just prior to the halfway mark, Mother Nature made her presence known once again, and the race was red flagged due to rain. Rusty Wallace was the race leader when they parked the cars on lap 183, but guess what? They're racing again. Unfortunately, due to time and network constraints, we're unable to bring you highlights of what has happened so far in the Haynes 500 today. What we can tell you is they plan to run until 7:15 this evening. So coming up on tonight's show, we'll talk with one of the rising competitors on the Winston Cup circuit, driver Steve Grissom, and his crew chief, Buddy Parrott. We'll also take you to the Elliott Neal Racing School, so you stay with us. Today's show is brought to you by Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place. And by Goodyear, #1 in racing, #1 in tires.
It's a funny old business. I've had years when I thought I should have won and didn't. And I had a year when I didn't think I would win, and I did. So you got to be prepared with the best car, the best people, and Goodyear Eagles. The only tire to have if you want to win the championship.
Goodyear, #1 in racing, #1 in tires.
Goodyear Eagles, I can give you a million reasons why. They're the best tires in the world.
Starting on up, you're behind the wheel. Move it down the road now, see how it feels, yeah. Add more life to your car, take it to the start.
From Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines to Haviland Formula 3 motor oil and Texaco antifreeze coolant, there's no better place to take your car than to the start.
Add more life to your car, take it to the start.
I don't get it. Why would you let yourself be led around by the neck?
It's a bad scene.
You gotta have some respect.
Knock it off.
Otherwise, you're gonna get jerked around. See, they say that every dog has his day. Well, I ain't got time for that. Come on, bud. And as far as I'm concerned,
Red Dog beer, bold yet smooth, easy to drink.
Red Dog. Every day's a Red Dog day.
This segment of IWCR is brought to you by Texaco Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car. If you've tuned in to check out the highlights from the Haynes 500 from Martinsville today, well, they're still racing. They just went back to green flag action after 2 rain delays. They plan to run to 7:15 this evening before waving the checkered flag. We're unable to bring you highlights. We'll have them for you on next Saturday's show. Currently, Rusty Wallace is leading. You know, 1993 Busch Series champion Steve Grissom has had a great start in Winston Cup Racing this year. Earlier in the season, Bill Weber had a chance to chat with both he and his new crew chief, Buddy Parrott. Let's take a look back at that story.
At Penske South Racing, Buddy Parrott was part of a team that blended experience and effort into 18 wins over the last 2 seasons. Over the last 20 years, Buddy Parrott has visited Victory Lane 44 times. In 1995, Buddy hopes to make the trip once again, this time with promising sophomore Steve Grissom. Parrott has raced and won with Winston Cup champions Rusty Wallace, Richard Petty, and Darrell Waltrip. And he shared champagne with a young Jarrett Cope twice in 1990, including the Daytona 500. Now Parrott has a new protege, a fresh approach, and a familiar desire to build another winner.
It means a lot to go to New York and be in the top 10 in the points. That's one of our goals this year. You know, Ricky Rudd started a new team, and he was in the building stages, and they were pretty successful this year. Matter of fact, they were real successful, top 5, and won a race. So that's something that can happen at Diamond Ridge this year.
Parrott's flight to Diamond Ridge Motorsports caught several people by surprise, but Buddy was ready to make a move, and this team offered up an opportunity he couldn't turn down.
Steve Grissom is 31 years old. I think when I get ready to really think about laying my headset down or whatever, my stopwatches, that Steve Grissom's going to be in he's going to be in his prime, so to speak, as a stock car driver. And I think that's one of the things I was looking at. And plus, You know, Gary has offered me something a lot of people hasn't in my racing career. He gave me ownership, part ownership, some ownership in the team, and so that's a lot of incentive for Judy and I.
Parrott is looking at a 5-year plan to mold a winner, then move into a limited role in the front office. He knows the value of individuals, emphasizing team and teamwork. In 1992, he worked with Steve at a handful of Busch races, and he liked what he saw.
I saw somebody that would put it right in there and get with the best of them. I saw him be very smart. You know, I think the one thing you can label Steve Grissom is that, you know, he's a finisher, and that means a lot. That means a lot toward the Winston Cup Championship. Being a champion, you've got to finish races. You have to be there at the end. It means a lot to the sponsor also to have a car out there all day long, and again, you know, putting a team together, having the pit stops and things like that. I see this team just come right along real fast.
Parrott delivers the intangibles that every young team wants and needs, but seldom gets. A proven winner willing to take control. Grissom will no doubt benefit from Buddy's working relationship with Rusty Wallace, the man Parrott gladly credits with the success of the Miller Genuine Draft team.
You know, I can honestly say that I hadn't worked with a driver with that kind of enthusiasm since the days of ODW. And when we'd go out there and win 5, 6, 7 races a year, but every time we went out the door, if we didn't win, we were kind of upset with ourselves. But Rusty, you know, like I said, he's done a great job. He knows what he wants on the car, and he and Todd have they work good together, and that's the main ingredients too.
Buddy was a main ingredient as well, choreographing and conducting the Penske players from high above the bustling Winston Cup garage. And he brings his old philosophy to his new team.
I learned that if it works up there, then it could work other places. So that's why I'm here.
That's exactly right. I mean, part of winning is knowing how to win. And no question, Buddy knows how to win. And, you know, again, the leadership, I mean, the way he pumps everybody up, you just sit there and listen to him for 5 minutes, and then, you know, he's got you ready to knock the wall down. It's amazing that what he can do to you.
Well, I've always liked a challenge. I like to run with the best of them. You know, I like to see guys go over the wall and be the intimidators on pit road.
To be able to get up there and mix it up with them, it takes time, but you know, we're not going to be sitting back waiting on it and using that as an excuse. We're going out to run as hard as we possibly can, as soon as we possibly can.
Buddy Parrott is already working on that part, preparing his driver, his cars, and his crew for a strong run in the new season, hopefully taking a page from the successful story he helped write with Penske Racing.
You know, the preparation of the cars it was second to none up there. You know, as far as mechanical failures and things, everything that we needed to work with and all, and they're going to be very strong. I mean, just because I left up there, I still think they're going to win races, and I'll be surprised if they don't. But on the other hand, I'm going to be surprised if we don't win, too.
Steve Grissom and the guys head off to Talladega to do battle on the world's fastest superspeedway next week. And one guy that has a chance to pick up a whole lot of money is Sterling Marlin. Bill Weber had a chance recently to talk to him, and he's sure going to go after it.
Well, I tell you, we're sure going to try, and we got the same car back that we had at Daytona, and we tested this week and run awful good, and you know, we'll just keep our fingers crossed and hopefully win it, and you know, get a little money from Winston and be in contention to win $1 million.
There are some financial incentives down at Talladega, aren't there? New ones, in fact.
Yeah, you know, if we can wrestle a point, lead away from Dale, it's extra $100,000 to the whoever's leading, and you know, $100,000 here and there. So you'll go off way really the whole day if we can sit on the pole and do everything. You know, around $350,000. So we're gonna sure try and see what happens.
Well, that's about all the time we have in this segment. We'll be back in just a moment. Ned will be at the Elliott Neal Technical Center, so you join him then. See you next week.
Because you know about high-performance vehicles, you can tell just by listening that this car is equipped with a Dynamax muffler. Dynamax products are designed for people like you, who know the difference between average and real high performance. Because second place isn't good enough for you. Go with the best. Go with Dynamax.
Not since Hitchcock has a flock of birds been so intimidating. Ford Thunderbird, NASCAR champion.
We're at the Elliott Neal Performance Technical Center near Mooresville, North Carolina, where they train people to work on race cars. A couple of months ago, we took you to the Laughlin race car building shops where they build the race cars from the ground up, and then Steve Neal took us through the steps of fine-tuning the race car, setting it up for the racetrack. Well, this is another step for those who are serious about working on race cars. They do it from one end to the other here, and we went behind the scenes in the classes to show you what goes on.
In 1989, Harold Elliott was providing the power that propelled Rusty Wallace to the Winston Cup Championship. Elliott was part of the foundation that helped build the Blue Max racing team into a winner. Now Elliott has formed another team, hoping to help others build another winner, literally. Joining with veteran engine man Ron Neal, they have opened the Performance Technical Center 30 miles north of Charlotte in Mooresville, North Carolina. Elliott remembers the magic the Blue Max team unveiled in '89, charging after the championship, watching as a dream developed into reality.
When we built Blue Max, we built a unique, I feel like a unique race team. We hired a key people, and then the key people hired people that they wanted to bring in and train. It was a new era. We hired Rusty Wallace as a driver, and we needed new ideas, so we brought people in and taught them how to do things our way. We didn't have to break them from the old habits. It seems like you got a lot of the mechanics that were jumping around from one team to the next, so we wanted a good crew of people that were dedicated, that would stay with us. And we built the championship team, and to prove that it worked, we took Rusty to the championship, and those guys now are good key people in other race teams.
Now Elliott and Neal are ready to teach other teams what it takes to succeed, how to figure the winning formula, and how to harness the magical moments of racing that few are fortunate enough to enjoy.
You're not going to make engine builders overnight. You're not going to make chassis guys overnight, but you're giving them a head start. I mean, it's hard to get into a Winston Cup garage and to look and see how people does things. It's so isolated, and it has to be that way. I mean, each team has got their secrets. They got their ways of doing things. That's what makes them competitive. That's what gives them a little edge. So bring a guy in and teach him the basics. And a lot of times you'll find that this person says, well, this is harder than I thought it was going to be, so I might not choose this as a career, but I don't think there's another place out there where you can go and get this hands-on experience that we teach here.
Classes are small, up close, hands-on. The courses can be customized to fit a student's need and knowledge. Racing at any level is competitive. Racing at the top requires a relentless passion to be the best.
The teams now are getting more specialized in specialized areas. They're hiring people, seem like, that have more specialty areas, so to speak. So that's, we thought about the school. Maybe we can take some of our knowledge of 20 years and teach some people that want to get involved in the racing. Not Winston Cup necessarily, but even Busch or the late model stock guys. We got a lot of young kids that's looking at making racing the future. And if we can give them a head start, a jump start, we'd probably teach them what not to do more than we do what to do. But at least it gives them an opportunity that they can get out there and they can get involved in the racing. And it's a good career. I mean, it's now a guy can make a good living with it. And we'd like to see a lot more young people involved in it.
Reaching the pinnacle of racing is a healthy yet lofty goal. For others, satisfaction and success can be achieved on a starlit Saturday night, just a few miles from home.
I didn't realize how important it was, the late model stock division was, because these guys they're kids, they're young kids still in high school. They're learning to build their own cars, they're learning to build their own chassis. They're learning how to drive. They've got their brothers that's driving, their dads are helping out. So it's like a family deal. And these guys will come back after class, now the season started, and say, hey, we were running 10th last year, now we're running 5th or 6th. So you've helped the program quite a bit.
Elliott and Neal are able to reach deep into their past for valuable racing wisdom that can give a student an education and incentive.
When I first started with Junior Johnson, in the early 70s, we had 7 guys in the shop, and everybody had to do a little bit of everything. And it was fun, but you know, back then you didn't have, the competition's not near like it is right now. So the people have got the guys that they're hiring to put in their special, what we call specialized areas for their transmissions, their aerodynamic packages, their computer packages, their dyno packages. These are the guys that's going to be out front. I mean, you give a guy a job to do, and he's special in that area, and don't distract him and let him do it, and it works out better.
Harold and I don't hold back. I mean, if we know everything that Rusty Wallace knows, and you ask us, we'll tell you. Everything that Hendricks knows, if you ask us, we tell you. If you want to use the equipment, we'll show you how to use it. We'll let you hands-on.
Well, that's only part of what goes on here. We'll take a break for recess, and then we'll be back to the class right after this, so you stay with us.
Excuse me? That's better. Excuse me? That's better. Excuse me? Excuse me. There's nothing better than a steak from Winn-Dixie.
If you're looking for a reliable place to service your car or truck, I've got great news for you.
Now at Pep Boys, air conditioning system check for only $19.99.
Come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
Leave it to Peerless Faucet to create a shower so smart, it can not only sense when a toilet has been flushed, it can also adjust the water temperature accordingly. Scald Guard technology by Peerless. Get more out of your faucet than just water.
We have now moved into the dyno room, something I didn't have when I was driving race cars. Wish I would have had. This is where Ron Neal does a lot of his training to the students who come here, and he certainly has the credentials. He had his own engine building company, Prototype, for many years, and to do a lot of research and development for many of the current Winston Cup teams here, as well as trained students. Now let's get back to the classroom.
The original plan at the Performance Center was to focus on the power plant, teach horsepower, where to find it, how to use it. But early demand also included the desire to acquire chassis knowledge, so Harold and Ron called on a few close friends.
We thought, well, we know enough people, good chassis people, that we could call Kurt Shema down in, Jimmy Maycar, and our good friend Dick Trickle has been in and helped us a ton. Thanks a lot, Dick, because he's probably, I mean, of all the people I've saw that anybody in Winston Cup has chassis problems, everybody goes to Dick Trickle. So, you know, we bring Dick in, he's kind enough to lend his time to sit down with 20 students, and we go through 3 days of good, hardcore chassis setups. He leaves out all the stuff that doesn't mean anything, gets right to the hardcore part of chassis, building and chassis setups.
The school runs throughout the year. Classes are grouped in 2, 3, and 5-day sessions, and each is intense and informative.
It's more hands-on. Everything's affected. I mean, you've altered that distance from the valve tip to that camshaft, then you got to make up the difference. You got to do it in such a fashion that you're not jeopardizing reliability. Students come in from, let's say, a 5-day engine course, and we'll go through the first 2 days of classroom. The Winston Cup guys now turning 87, 88, 8,900 RPMs. The engine builders have put more thought into the geometry now than they ever have. And then it's all hands-on. You know, we take a guy in and we build an engine from the ground up. What we're doing is measuring the weight of the fuel because we monitor it with a flow meter. Then our last day is dyno tuning. It's already set our parameters up in here, so we got a configuration file we go by. Just go ahead and set them up. But Superflow, you've got everything you got's right here. You make the run and it prints out. They watch this engine and they participate in building this engine from the ground up all the way till it's dynoed, sitting the floor ready to go to the race. Torque really shows up better because it's defined more, but it's back up there. If you had made that first run and used that as your gospel, you'd say, well, boy, I messed up. I've richened this thing up. Look how much horsepower it killed it. For all the time, it wasn't a fuel mixture done it was the oil flow.
Anybody could build an engine that's got 700 horsepower. To get 710, now that's the next step. But due to the sophisticated equipment, the CNC cylinder heads, the factories picking up the pace, it's actually easier to build competitive engines, I think that's why you see the field so close. But then it's that much harder to get the next advantage.
While the business side of racing continues to grow, so does the fun and the challenge. Elliott and Neil hope to help answer the challenge of racing and winning.
You got to have your pit crew guys geared to making pit stops. You got to have the guys in the aerodynamic department. That's all they're thinking about is aerodynamics. The guys in the engine shop. I mean, it used to be, it wasn't anything to see an engine builder drive the truck to the racetrack in the old days, but you don't see it anymore because he is dedicated to study that engine. So those specialized areas are getting spread out to where teams now are you're looking at housing 30 to 40 people where you didn't have but just a handful.
In the end, the students aren't the only winners. The instructors can once again share the thrill of achievement when their class experiences the rewarding accomplishment of graduating to victory lane.
It's like going to the candy store. I mean, it's hard to get to see all this, let alone use it, and then watch, work on an engine, dyno it, make some changes, see if it's better, see if it's worse. So it's fun for us and the students.
It's a very exciting sport to be in, and like I said, it's no other place that I can see that you can get the hands-on experience that you do here.
In the last month or so, we have taken you to a shop where they build race cars from the ground up. Steve Meal took us through the steps of setting a race car up, getting it ready for the racetrack. And now we have shown you where you can get training to work on the race car from one end to the other if you're serious about this business. And if you want more information, you can call 1-800-963-RACE. It's time for us to take a short break. Still to come, we'll have the mailbox. And as we leave you for this break, here's a look at what's coming up next week right here on IWCR.
Next Sunday, the Winston Cup Series thunders south to Talladega, Alabama. Dale Earnhardt is the defending champ. It's the second leg of the Winston Million. And we'll have the pre-race report from the Winston Select 500.
Last season, you could find Jeff Bodine on the pole or in victory lane. But 1995 has been a different story. We'll talk with the owner-driver about his team, his tires, and his battle to get back on top.
Hi, I'm Terry Pendleton. I'd like to wish everybody at Inside Winston Cup Racing a happy 10th anniversary.
For cars that can benefit from higher octane,
Frank, we're late.
Texaco Clean System 3 Power Plus and Power Premium are formulated to clean your engine's intake valves, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers while you're driving. For smooth starts and sure acceleration, just give us 5 tanks, and we think you'll see a difference. A word of advice. Maybe you should keep the windows rolled up.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
Monroe developed SensorTrack shocks to smooth out the road for a comfortable ride. But SensorTrack doesn't stop there. It's the only shock that also gives you extra control when you need it most. SensorTrack shocks and struts, only by Monroe, for comfort and control.
If you're spending more time battling the trimmer line than you are battling weeds, you need the Weed Wizard. Easy to install, you'll never buy line again. No weeds are too big. No weeds are too small. Weed Wizard cuts them all. Save time and money, have a beautifully landscaped yard, and never stop to adjust the line. Weeds lose. You're the winner with the amazing Weed Wizard. Weed Wizard is available at participating lawn and garden hardware home center retailers everywhere.
The Krylon Touch
means making the old look new.
The Krylon Touch.
And the boring becomes beautiful. Show your true colors.
Don't just paint, give it the Krylon Touch.
Only with Krylon.
It's just too early to make decisions. But I have to decide on breakfast, so I go to Burger King and get a flaky croissant sandwich, hash browns and coffee for just $1.99. But then, do I get it to stay or to go?
Breakfast at Burger King.
They've got roof cams, bumper cams, dog cams. They've even got suspension cams. B&N Motorsports. Doesn't get any closer.
The IWCR mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Our question this week is from our voice mailbox.
How long do you run the motor on a dynamometer before you decide it's okay to put into a car, and who makes that decision for each race? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Greg Moore with the Quality Care Ford team of Dick Trickles, and do motor work and general manager for the team. On a dynamometer, that kind of depends. A typical power run may only last 10 to 15 seconds. A typical break-in run could run 30 minutes to 90 minutes. A lot of it just depends on how the motor performs on the dyno as to how long you keep it on there. And usually that decision, kind of a group decision made by all the people in the motor room. Thank you, Jeff, for calling in.
Questions for the voicemail box are recorded on the Finishing Positions hotline at 1-900-73-RACES. You can also get up-to-the-minute qualifying results, race results, and point standings. 89 cents a minute in the U.S., 99 cents in Canada. Average call 2 minutes for mailbox or 3 minutes for results. Call 1-900-73-RACES.
If we use your question, you'll receive this embroidered Miller Genuine Draft jacket.
We move into another room, we find more equipment. They've got it all here. You know, I think we'll leave Bill and Randy here to go to school for a couple of days before we head off to Talladega. I probably should stay too, but it's time for us to get out of here. Join us again here on TNN for more on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
Today's show has been brought to you by Texaco System 3 Gasolines. Add more light to your car. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place. And by Goodyear, #1 in racing, #1 in tires. Drivers, race teams, and race fans, have you ordered the new 1995 Team Simpson catalog? Don't get left out of the action. Call 1-800-71-RACIN and join Team Simpson today. The official conversion van of Inside Winston Cup Racing is Gladiator by Glavel. America's #1 luxury van, Glavel. The way we put it together sets us apart.
Bassmasters, tonight on TNN Outdoors. You're watching TNN, the Nashville Network, the #1 source for country music, entertainment, and information.
Live. $10 down. $10 a month. At Viseras Furniture, $10 is all it takes. Only at Viseras, buy one piece. Buy a room full. Buy a house full of furniture. For just $10 down. And $10 a month. Buy furniture, recliners, mattresses, and more. Get anything, get everything you need. For just $10 down. And $10 a month. Plus, there's more. Your furniture is interest-free for 1 full year. So get to Viseras Furniture now. And get all the furniture you need. For just $10 down. And $10 a month.
You'll find showers of savings at Surefine and an exciting enter-to-win contest for tickets to Buck Motorsports. This week, Wampler Longacre Premium Skinless Turkey Breast, $2.49 a pound. 64-ounce Tropicana Pure Premium Orange Juice, $1.99. Turkey Hill Ice Cream, Light Ice Milk, or Frozen Yogurt, 2 half gallons, just $5. Klondike Bars, a 6-pack, only $2.39. 10-ounce Cheerios, just $1.99. And be sure and enter to win tickets to Buck Motorsports Park. Get details at Surefine.